The last time I spoke to you, unfortunately, this was the damage that my nose wheel fairing on Echo Yankee Zulu had sustained, and on top of that, it was due to go in for its annual inspection. So the last time I saw the aircraft, it looked like this. But thankfully, since then, the nose wheel fairing has been fixed, the annual inspection has been completed, and Echo Yankee Zulu is back and fixed and ready to fly again. So today we're going to test fly my Cirrus SR22 Echo Yankee Zulu with a quick local flight from my home airport of Moorabbin here in Melbourne over the Formula 1 circuit in Albert Park.
Flying right, pretty much down, feet straight.
Now this video was recorded on the first day of race action at the Australian Grand Prix, and I'm going to explain how we were able to fly right over the top of the Formula 1 circuit in the middle of the day when there's racing action going on below us, perfectly legally and separated from the other aircraft operating in the area.
Traffic. Yeah, traffic somewhere.
But before that, let me go through some of the fixes and the updates that we've made to the aircraft over the last few weeks in order to get it airworthy and ready to fly. So let's start with that nose wheel fairing then. So this is made of carbon fibre, and what we believe happened, because we weren't present when it actually happened, is the aircraft sustained a hard landing. The nose wheel shimmied, and when it shimmies, what happens is the tyre can actually press against the side of the fairing itself. And the carbon fibre, whilst it's light and very strong, with enough force, eventually it is actually going to crack. So what Blue Demon did is they cut around the crack, which basically stops it from propagating any further up into the rest of the fairing, sanded that area down, covered it with a few different layers of carbon fibre, sanded that down to give a nice smooth finish, and then painted over the top in the same white colour that was there before. And to be honest with you, even this close, I'll bring the camera up here, even this close, I can't even see where the crack was. And if you're wondering if this thing had been damaged beyond repair, how much it would have cost to replace just this wheel fairing, several $1,000s I've been quoted. So I'm really glad that we've been able to actually fix it here. And I also just much prefer, if something is broken, if there is a way to fix it rather than just chucking it away and buying a brand new one. And now, to be honest with you, it looks like a brand new one anyhow. I cannot notice the difference. EYZ has also got some fresh new tyres on the main landing gear, and that was done for a couple of reasons, not least of which was one of the tyres actually had a pretty bad flat spot on it, but also we'd noticed that the tyres on the inside have actually been wearing down faster than the outside of the tyre. And what Stephen was telling me, the maintenance engineer who looks after Echo Yankee Zulu, he said that instead of the tyres sitting neatly on the ground in an upright position, that the landing gear was actually splaying outwards slightly, which meant that the inside of the tyres was actually touching the runway more than the middle of the tyre, as it should be. The angle of the wheels can actually be adjusted slightly so they sit more in the middle of the wheel rather than on the inside. And additionally to all of that, the tread on both tyres was actually getting pretty low, so it was an opportune time to sort that main landing gear out, to sort out that flat spot, and to put a new set of boots on the aircraft before it goes flying next. In terms of the power plant, the engine itself, well, thankfully no major defects were found with this engine. The fuel injector nozzles, they were taken off. They get routinely cleaned and put back on the engine as well. There's also a general inspection that's done over the engine itself too. But like I say, thankfully no major issues found with the power plant, which to be honest, I'm not too surprised about because, first of all, I think it's well looked after, and it is looked after by everybody who flies this aircraft. But also, it's not actually that old. For an aircraft that was built almost 20 years ago, the engine actually hasn't got that many hours on it, so it should still be in good condition, and thankfully based on the results of the annual inspection we can see that it is. Now I was hoping that we were going to get a new fuel pump put into Echo Yankee Zulu because the old one is actually losing a little bit of its power from what we've seen in the past. Sometimes you can actually see a little bit of fuel venting underneath the aircraft, especially when it's been running for a while in hot conditions. But a newer fuel pump might actually help me with those hot start issues that I've had on EYZ in the past when you do tend to get air bubbles building up in the fuel injector lines. A stronger fuel pump might be able to help me push those bubbles of air actually out of the fuel injection lines and start the aircraft a little bit more easily on those hot days when I'm trying to start this aircraft up in the middle of the desert. That would be good, especially that one time when I was trying to do that in Darwin. It was like a big sort of media thing. There were a lot of people there watching me, waving me off, saying, you know, have a great flight out of Darwin. And it took me a solid 20 minutes to start this aircraft up because of vapor lock within the lines. If I can avoid that kind of embarrassment in the future, that would be a win. But I don't think we've got the fuel pump on here. I'll check with Stephen when we see him in a second. Oh, it's locked. Some of you know that I work with Garmin. I still very much do to this day. They helped me with the original fit out of Echo Yankee Zulu when we moved from the Avidyne Avionics to the G500 TXIs and the GTN 650s, which I have here. And one of the products that they have in this region for us flying here in Australia in the South Pacific, which has been great, is the South Pacific Pilot Pack options when you are upgrading databases. Now, previously you used to be able to have a combination of Garmin and Jeppesen data if you wanted full coverage in this area, but you don't need to do that now. It all comes through the one Garmin source. It means it's less to download, also means there's less expense because you're doing it all through one bundled product with Garmin. Just makes it easier that everything's all in one place and I can just basically download one pilot pack, have that annual subscription for it, and then every time there's an update I just push the latest through and I know I'm getting the latest data in each of those different areas. I'll just let this update and then I'll talk to you about the flight that we're going to do this afternoon. So now the aircraft is all back from its annual inspection, everything's looking good. It's kind of ready to fly again. I'm still not as I record this. I'll have another update for you maybe in a week or two on this channel, but I've still got one more test that I need to do with CASA. We're not going to talk about that today because, well, I'm just sick of talking about it, to be honest. But today I'm still going to go flying with Stephen, and we had this fun idea because at the moment in Australia, as I record this is Thursday, day one of the Australian Formula 1 Grand Prix. And whilst there is a temporary restricted area over the top of the Australian Grand Prix course at the moment, Air Services, who manage the airspace here in Australia, have got what they call an AIP supplement, or Aeronautical Information Package. And a supplement just means it's like a little add-on that's often temporary. Now, Air Services Australia have basically designated the ground to 1,500 feet as restricted. And that's because of all the helicopter traffic that's going to and from the circuit and doing sightseeing flights around the track as well. Anything from the ground up to the bottom of controlled airspace is also restricted, but only during certain times, and that's when the aerial displays are going on. Outside of those times, there is a gap between that 1,500 step and a 2,000 feet step, which is the bottom of Class C, the controlled airspace into Melbourne International Airport. There's 500 feet of Class G uncontrolled airspace, which, according to the rules, you can fly in at any time without any clearance. So you can do your own scenic flight and get incredible views over the top of the Australian Formula 1 Grand Prix circuit during race weekend, as long as you stay above 1,500 feet and below 2,000 feet. So that's exactly what we're going to do now.
All right, well, I was going to do this organically, but I already asked him when we were in the hangar before, and I know what the answer is, but I wasn't sure if we put the new fuel pump into EYZ in the last annual inspection. Stephen, what happened to the fuel pump that you promised me in the aircraft?
Yeah, definitely promised. Slightly forgot.
Slightly forgot. So that is coming soon. We are going to get a new fuel pump in this aircraft so I can start it in the heat in Darwin and not look like a Wally in front of 20 people.
Raven, terminal information. Victor, that's runway 17 left for Alpha departures east, frequency 118.1. Runway 17 right for Alpha departures west, frequency 123.0. The wind 220 degrees, 11 knots, crosswind maximum 11 knots. Scav OK, temperature 23, QNH1012. Temporary restricted airspace 990, active as per NOTAM. First contact from ground tower, notify receipt of information, Victor.
So that temporary restricted airspace, 990, that's the track itself. That's the one that we were just talking about beforehand, which is surface up to 1,500 feet for all the helicopters that are flying around. But Stephen and I, we had a good debrief just before this as well, just to talk about where we can actually go. And we do have this sort of slither of 500 feet above that TRA and below the Class C for Melbourne International. That we can, it's basically Class G, so we can do, as long as we see and avoid other traffic, we can do what we like in that airspace.
Do what we like?
Well, like within limits. Hey, with the run-ups, because you've just done the 100 hourly, anything particular you're looking for as an engineer, looking at the what's going on here?
No, I'm just doing a normal run-up. We've done full power runs and everything on the ground before we signed the aeroplane out. I'll have to make it a short-ish flight tonight. Gotta get back and watch the footy.
Oh yeah, I know, it's first game of the season, and you're playing tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, so we'll lose.
You never know, you might, I was going to say you might win. So.
No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular you're looking for then on the takeoff roll as well, seeing as it's come out of maintenance?
No, nothing abnormal. The only thing I'll be looking at is maybe the RPMs are staying within limit. Not that we've adjusted anything this time, but that's sort of the go-to is your quickest indication if something's going wrong. Tower, afternoon, Echo Yankee Zulu is ready, 17 right, up and departure to the south.
Echo Yankee Zulu, Raven Tower, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, Echo Yankee Zulu. And then usually on a first flight, it's now I'm sort of feeling how the aeroplane feels if there's a vibration or a shudder, if there's an inspection panel or something loose.
Yep.
I mean, we would have seen that on a pre-flight anyway, but
yeah,
it's just in case something silly is going on, but everything's happy at the moment.
And the RPMs were within the right sort of range?
Yeah, everything's happy.
Yeah, good.
We spent the first part of the flight mainly just making sure that the engine was running well within its parameters.
Well, it sounds good.
It's flying good.
Yeah.
We did a few controllability checks as well, but just basically made sure that Echo Yankee Zulu was doing everything we expected it to do. But because everything was looking really good, we decided then to turn north and head towards the Formula 1 Grand Prix circuit, having a quick chat in the few minutes we had spared just to discuss what we thought we might expect when we got above the circuit.
Obviously, we'll both keep an eye out for traffic as well, because there's probably going to be, well, if the helicopters are slightly above where they should be, or anyone else is doing the same thing as us today.
It's perfectly legal flying through all this area, but it feels illegal because, you know, there's so much traffic coming into Moorabbin.
Yeah.
And you're so close to Class Charlie, but...
Yeah, but this is where the real see and avoid part of VFR flying comes into play, isn't it? Because anyone else could be here at the exact same point in time right now, and everyone's doing the right thing. But that's why we're responsible to look out for each other.
All the helicopters should be getting airborne and then tracking up Queen's Road to the city.
Yep, okay.
37 September, you there, passing the 6000, direct 6
cars on track.
Level 240.
Is there cars on track?
Down the back straight, there's a couple of cars.
Oh yeah, there are, yeah.
And after passing 6000.
Might be the V8s.
It might be, yeah. Do they have a practice this time?
Papa Zulu, Quebec, there's no reported R5 traffic for you this time.
Now you got the VFR lane coming through here, it's got to keep an eye on too.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential traffic conflicts around here. You've got Point Cook Airport, people coming around the coast, Laverton Bomb Tower, which comes through here, which is the VFR corridor back to Moorabbin.
Northwest from Werribee South at 3,500, request clearance to operate in the east of the center line at above 4,500 with information Tango.
That's so cool though. Flying right, pretty much down, pit straight.
Bravo Zulu, Quebec, IFR cancel, operate to VFR, identification control service terminated, frequency change approved. Bravo Zulu, good day.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks as always for giving me the best views.
Oh, good. Are we annoying for one more pass, or?
No, I'm good. We've got football to watch, as you say. I feel like as well, because we've done 2 passes and we kind of got to see what we wanted to see, why stretch it and try and do another one? Yeah. Because it is a busy bit of airspace.
And upset everyone around.
Victor, no reported R5 traffic between.
And then, so you're going in via Brighton?
Yeah, I'll go right.
Alright.
Unless there's anywhere else you want to go?
No, that's great, thank you. I just wanted to take a look at the track from above, make sure the aircraft was doing aircrafty things after it's had its surgery. And then, yeah, and look forward to the new fuel pump, like you say. Can't wait for that.
Moorabbin Tower, g'day again. Echo Yankee Zulu is Brighton, 1,500 inbound with Victor.
Yankee Zulu, Moorabbin Tower, joining the Bleak Base, 17 right.
Base 17 right, Echo Yankee Zulu.
Traffic, 8 o'clock, high, less than 1 mile.
He's under your
Traffic,
wing,
12
behind the wing,
o'clock,
he's turning
high.
now.
Traffic, 10 o'clock, high, 1.
I would say that landing was 80% the new tyres, 20% you, but it was very smooth. Thanks very much. Actually, just for fun, Stephen doesn't know this obviously because we're not time travellers, but I can now put the score for tonight's game. He's a Carlton fan, by the way. I'm going to put the score down here. Stephen, do you think it's a good result for you or not? You'll find out tomorrow.